Abusuya President Mahama asanso aye na de ne bio. Abusuya then na President Mahama aye e political highway. So gossip politics TV. So subscribe na hit it on the notification bell so na be any update be drop onsa ebetumi akabi suitable needs ventures. Abusuya open any prepaid card credit be out to a friend number na say egu ase no suitable needs ventures a very legit source ohia any prepaid credit bia or DB ebeyeden epemawa ebusuya enye asem ketwa pra location there enye problem dey hia say obefre number na egu ase no ebusuya then na President Mahama wa che say oye good leader ebusuya President Mahama sisi anon at first na empanyfo ni bi etutu kwan rough ebusuya sisi President Mahama watwem eno ene ya project de ato ye screen no enchen de amam no President Mahama bans board members of state owned enterprises from traveling for training, studies, retreats and conferences. Abusuya obeka ya embre bi etwemu no abusuya appointees ni bi etumi tu kwan omokochile na omode in the name of den Ghana na bossa aka no say ombetu kwan obekwa akosua ade omobekwa akoreste omobekwa akoye omundwumadie bi a ewo abonten abusuya President Mahama ne okujeto ablakwa omaka abuma chese sisi ano baabi a oman no ye keka kono masa ya ye ward intino appointees a omotututu akwan nyina abusuya watwam abusuya first no during last 8 years say NPP appointees ni bi tu kwan na omo dware wo wiem ne ade na say ebo oman ne ka abusuya President Mahama etwam mom yanko na yenkonkoti ensem bia ekoso ewo political highway no efa President Mahama ne bani a wa bani traveling appointees no omo akwantu no o twetwetwa no mom yankonkoti on subscribe na hit on the notification bell so na be any update be ever drop no wonsa ebetumi akabi medamase.
In helping our local industry and in helping local governance, President Mahama says, from hence, no board member should travel out for international conferences, trainings, and what have you. What might have, Council, let me start with you. What might have triggered this decision? Is it overspending? Is it the abuse of constant travel by board people? What might have triggered this?
Yes, good morning to your viewers. We've not had the opportunity to say hello. We've been doing our 2x4 here and thinking more about Ghana, and it all boils down to the same thing. Sure. But I've received about 4 messages to ask why you are not on DSTV.
Okay, so we had a challenge. We had to go off, and then somebody took
your slot.
The numbers. Yes, our number slots.
Yes.
So now we are trying to come back and then because people for years were used to that particular number, so we are trying to resolve that. And then very soon we'll be back, and then we'll give you the new digits that you can tune into.
Then someone also sent a message that you don't appear to be nationwide. So even on the surface to air ones.
Let me quickly alert
so if you can do work on those two things. But then again, I mean, my philosophy has always been just do it. So we are about to, doesn't really work with me. Let your people just do it. You hold us accountable to it. Sure. So let's hold you accountable. Just do it. I mean, I don't know if in the country we have means of measuring the number of people who tune into a specific if we are able to, then you would have seen how your viewership is and what you are losing.
No, since I started coming on their program has quadrupled.
Oh, good. You are talking like Donald Trump. That we've never had that. That has never happened before. No, fine.
It's beautiful. Never happened
Since
before.
I started coming on the show.
Yes,
never happened before.
That's why they love to. Now they've been bringing me in every week.
Yes,
so
then
we love you. We love everybody.
The exponential growth of me on your show has.
Yes. Anyway, one of the things that the government has come in to do is to reset, and we have also asked that we will do fiscal, that is fine, a prudent use of Ghana's money. And COVID has actually opened a lot of doors to a lot of things that hitherto we never knew happens. There's a company now in Ghana. Hitherto they used to have meetings every day. You see them traveling from here to, if I mention the region, you will know where they are, etc. Now they do it at home, everybody. Secondly, before you even come into the main office, you need to book ahead to say, I'll be in the office on Monday or Tuesday. Then they'll reserve a place for you. Otherwise, you stay at home. Then they've realized that they've compared how much they spend on data to how much they're spending on travel, office accommodation, etc. They realize that they're making huge savings. You see, there's a tendency among us, particularly this part of the world, that once the thing belongs to the government, you need to use it. I traveled with a group of people before, and they were using the card we were given for travel, for drinks, and I said, you can't do that. And one of them pulled out the form you give to retire expenditure to say they wrote here drinks. What do you mean that they wrote? Why did they write drinks? It's because they were allowed to drink. And I said, no, your conscience should tell you the job you are here to do doesn't involve drinks. So the president, if you look at it today, someone said perhaps very soon the president will even say when we meet we shouldn't drink tea. And I say yes, provided that will save Ghana some money. And the reasons they've given, they are not saying don't travel. There are certain travels that are not essential. They are not needed. Now, they say when you want to travel, give us the breakdown of the travel, where you're going, what are the objectives and the benefits. Then you give the total cost. Then we weigh it to see, can you do it this way, can you do it that way? If you can't do it by being at home, use Zoom, use Team, etc., then you can go. But there are certain conferences, I mean, largely you go, you only have glossy magazines and you bring back home, people even fall asleep, people don't even go there. We have situations in this country, people go for conferences and come back with the why they went to the conference, etc. So the president's view is that it is not don't go. You are allowed to go for the essential ones. The ones that you feel is really important for you to go, run it by the chief of staff. Let them look at it. If it is okay, you are allowed to go. So that at the end of the day, you don't have a situation where the board members take a chunk of what is coming into the organization or the firm, the company, rather than to be used for something else. We have situations where board members are earning more than the CEOs, etc., or you aggregate all that they take at the end of the day. So this is supposed to say that, hey, let's tighten our belt. Let's be disciplined in this arena. Let's see how the outcome will be. I'm sure it will be very small from beginning, but in the long run, it will benefit all of us.
Is this an austerity one or is it a long term?
No, it's a long-term thing. Yes, you notice that when they brought the code of conduct, it was, some people thought it would be just for a month or 3 months and it's gone. But they are still being held to that. So it is a long-term thing. My worry, however, is because it has no backing by any law, assuming President John Dramani Mahama leaves tomorrow morning, what happens? Even if it is an NDC government, is the person willing or the new government willing to continue what has been said today? So that is my only worry. But there will be arguments why you can't necessarily put these things in an act. But it is us. Let us try to change our attitude towards some of these things. And I believe that the good thing will come out of it.
Well, my brother talks about reset. You can't reset something that doesn't exist. This thing that the president is talking about, for me today, there is an existing ban, right? So you cannot reset something that exists already. When the president in February last year was swearing in 17 ministers, do you remember? This same statement was made when the president was swearing in 17 ministers February last year. That ban on non-essential travels. And he went on to say that even when it's now approved as essential, they can only travel business class, not first class. You remember that statement?
Yes.
So what are you resetting something that does not exist? The president in his first month in office banned all non-essential travels. The office that is weak in this instance is the office of the chief of staff. That's where the blame goes. Look, I'll give an example. During President Kufuor's time, right? Mr. Kwame Mpianim was the chief of staff. Find out from people who are in the administration and you know what you go through before you are given permission to travel. You can't apply for visa without permission from the chief of staff's office for visas. Okay? Your per diem is not released to you unless you have a letter expressly permitting you from the Chief of Staff's office to travel. The Chief of Staff is the senior prefect. Okay? And that is why all these things, if you read this letter, you realize that the president puts the supervision in the office of the Chief of Staff. So when the president stands and says that ban on non-essential travels, February 2025, and there's a need to issue another letter on the 5th of March 2026, a year later, it means the Chief of Staff is not doing his work. And it's not only government appointees. You see, sometimes when these things come up, we tend to look at the top government appointees. In certain institutions, all the technocrats are doing is going online and looking for conferences and all those things to attend, especially when they have high IGFs, right? Some of the companies that have a lot of IGFs and they can fund some of these things. And when they travel, they don't even stay in the hotels they say they are going to stay. They stay with friends and keep the money. When they travel, they don't even go to these conferences they claim they are going. They just show up one day, do a registration, and go about their business. So it is really a per diem thing.
Okay.
It's highly a per diem thing. Everybody wants to do that for the per diem. And for it to get to a point where the president has to issue another letter, it means it's really disturbing. And I have noticed that, I have always said, and this is not only up to this government, previous governments as a nation, we travel too much. Government officials travel too much. What are we traveling for? We run an election to fix Ghana. We always want to be out there as if there is something that's going to happen if we don't go. Meanwhile, during the whole 6-7 months of COVID, we did everything by Zoom.
True.
Right? Now, there are conferences that they give a Zoom option.
It's a hybrid.
Yes, it's a hybrid. Most conferences are hybrid, right? And this travel, be it a state visit, be it a minister being invited, what is it that they are bringing? They are not bringing anything. Every time people are in their emails looking for invitations to go somewhere and they are now applying that they want to travel. So for me, yes, it's getting out of hand. That is why you've seen a second letter. Because the first one was the February last year. Now there's a second letter saying that people should stop these travels. Now, board members, you should understand how board members now who always felt that board membership is a prestige. It's not. One of the things that the MPP government did, we capped all board fees. You understand? They're grade A and grade B and grade C. Grade A was about, I think, 2,000 something per sitting, and the subcommittee was about 800 and something. Grade B is about 1,400 sitting and about 700 something subcommittee. So people are getting onto these boards and realize that now say board they crash in. Because you go to a board meeting and your seat allowance is 1,500. You do withholding tax. You had to be 1,002.
So then let me go for these
Then let me now look at the perks. What are the perks that I get as a board? So they put pressure on the managing director to approve some of these travels. And the managing director, wanting to keep his board happy, is also approving these things for the board members to travel. But that tells you that people take these appointments not knowing really and truly what's in there. I remember so well, I know an old man who told me, "Oh, Kujo, I want to go on a board." I'm like, you live here, you want to travel to Accra to go on a board to collect tax. I said, and no another man. Yeah, that's what they give us. I said, no, you don't believe it. I said, yes. There's a scale. There isn't a lot. My brother will tell you. You understand? And there are so many ways that people are trying to do to now, when they do a sitting that they can do and complete. They are doing a sitting and say, 5 hours, you've sat too much, so let's break it into 2. So that they do 2 sittings and get double the sitting fee. All these things are just a way to basically make sure that those that sit on these boards, they think that is the place to go. No, it's where you go to serve. It's the service to nation. It's not where you go and get rich. So look, it's a problem. And I think the chief of staff should be up and running. He should set up. And if he wants to help and make the presidency a very strong presidency, the chief of staff, because everybody will tell you that President Kufuor's presidency was an iron stealth presidency because of Kojo Mpianim. right? Chief of staff, you have the Newmans and all the people that you can talk of, and they are the ones that define a presidency. If the chief of staff is weak, the presidency is weak. So the Honorable Julius Debra should set up and make sure the president succeed in this adventure, because I think that as a nation we travel too much.
Just a quick one.
Okay.
I don't think all board members are government appointees. The February letter was for government appointees. Yes, there are some boards, I mean, a great number of boards that have certain representatives as part of the board members that are not government appointees.
But they are brought and appointed by the board, by the government.
No,
They are recommended.
They represent.
Yes, it represents institutional bodies, but they are appointed. But they are appointed by the government.
No, I'm raising this because the February letter you are talking about appears to be nobody should travel. It was specific to say government appointees. For example, if I am representing, let's say, TUC on a board, the government cannot take me out.
I agree, but I'm saying that if he wants to travel,
so I'm trying to get for you to, or for viewers to understand the difference between the government appointees and non-government appointees. So there are certain people on the board that are not government appointees. The February letter, if we want to stretch it to today, was specific to say government appointees. Now there could again be a period of sleepiness where people could say, oh, hey, hello, he was talking to his ministers when he was appointing. Now we are board members. We are not, let's narrow it. He was talking to his 17 ministers or those he appointed, and he even gave them code of conduct. We are not part of it. So I believe that the new directive is meant to cover everybody. So it is not necessarily a second letter, so as to say, to build on the first one, because the first one is weak. Whether it's weak or not is an issue we'll discuss another day, but there are certain appointees that are not government appointees. They can decide that, hey, I ain't going to take that. But now that you are serving on a board that is supervised by the government say, hey, we are not going to fund that. So you are not going. You can still say, I represent GH1 on the board, but the government says, okay, go take money from GH1, and you go for it. He mentioned something. Look, I always use this as my example. When I was working in the UK, you look at the Barclay card. Barclay card is blue. I was given a Barclay card. I was going home and I bought something. I picked it and I realized that it was just £4.28 or something. I got to the office the following day, filled in the form, gave it to my boss that, hey, I made a mistake. £4.28. Then my boss quickly signed. His boss, who was to approve, he said, this is the first and the last. You do it again, I withdraw the card from you. Make your own purchases when you're going for conferences, travel, then we'll pay you later. Now here, you do it, someone will say, you are just talking about 40 cities. Leave that one. So the things he's saying about board members doing A, B, C, and indeed, you see, I've also had problem about persons we put on certain boards. Not only today, it has always been. Persons we put on certain boards. Then you will see that when there's change in government, somebody is looking for the most lucrative board to say that this man has to be on that board. Yes, then someone also says that you are being put on that board to represent the interests of me. So at the end of the month, make sure I get my 1,000 cedis or my $1,000. So all these things are the things that we do little, and we run ourselves down. That is why I'm saying that the mental and societal resetting of ourselves is also needed. Because if we want to live it that way every day, oh, you two is that 200 cedis you are talking about, let the person go. Let everybody do 200 cedis times 1,000. That is 200,000. And we do it for a year. That's so much. Then we are complaining. So if we are able to sweep some of these things, this directive couldn't have come at any worse time. I think that minus even the chief of staff, you see, integrity is doing something when nobody is there watching you to do it. You do the right thing. So I think that we as a people should also begin to do the right thing. Perhaps maybe that is why some people will not be at certain places.
Okay, abusua we ne ensema ekoso e political highway so President Mahama ene Okujeto Ablakwa omaka bom ene chese omode sa anoma wi aba yabedamase samoje pene kokuti sa ensem we edemai aha gossip politics TV so unsubscribe ya subscribe na hit on the notification bell so that any updates be able drop no wonso wonsa ebetumi akabi bedamase.